Hello and welcome to the penultimate round of the World Super Touring Championship, the third season of this formula. We're at the Nurburgring. We're at the same venue that the Euros are, and another double-header weekend, which we kind of expected to be the bee's knees just as much as it was at Maggiora. It is the Sprint Circuit, Mercedes Arena, F1 chicane layout, which you'll see from DTM rounds of recent years. And on pole, evidential late run of form from the Alpha team. Sabine Wittmann, the defending champion, is now try harder with defending the championship, but with fifth place and nearly 80 points, 83 points behind Jamie Webber on pole. And surprise alongside Wittmann, we'll have to ask our man in the box alongside me about that later. The privateer Mazda is on the front row. I can perhaps assume why from the news we'll talk about during the race. And bigger shock of all shocks, Ryan Camish, P6. Someone's trying to get a seat for next year, perhaps. And then we got Sakon Kobayashi, another very good performer. Privateers are doing well in the Euros, and maybe that's rubbed off on the likes of Duma as well in the top 10. Adrian Michael Rees here, welcome. And alongside me, he's very pleased with himself and with his protege Ingram, doing well in the Euros as well. Michael Swinnerton. That's one big cat out of the bag there in terms of the front row start.
Well, you poked its head out. Yeah. Evidently buoyed by Ingram's good running. He seems to have learnt a thing or two about this track because he put in a stonking lap time in qualifying, and here we are on the front row of the grid.
Is this, may as well say it now before we start the race, but we'll get into the other ones later. The Mazda announcement, have they actually put something in that to sort of spice it up a little?
Yeah, we've got extra engineers with us this weekend who are giving the car a far more thorough once-over than it's ever had before, and it's certainly helping to a degree.
So it's going to be good news for the World's Championship this time by. Who knows what we get next year when a variant of that car appears, wherever that may be. But as for now, let's see what it's like when the green light shines. Off they go, rear-wheel drive action, obviously taking an advantage, but you've got Palou with a very good start down the inside of Ingram as Ingram falls back to 6th. You've got Camish, there's a bit of late braking from Palou, and down the inside to P2. That's a surprise.
Making a dive already. He's wasting zero time in trying to make his mark on this race.
One extra lap for the Worlds compared to the Euros. Hopefully it should provide that extra lap of excitement for us. Kobayashi up to 5th. Very good start for them as well. But then Ingram's back up to 5th. Camish trying to cling on to whatever's left of his own performance in that car. Duma one place up as well.
Yeah, Camish just proving
well out.
Whilst he might not have the aggression of certain other drivers, he is at the end of the day a good safe pair of hands, which is never a bad thing to have.
And the aggression you just saw in Salo's Ford getting by.
Yes, well, we know Ford have definitely found something with that round the outside.
That's more of that, please.
Yeah,
we saw it yesterday with the first race of the Euros through the NGK chicane.
I don't know whether that's down to his rallycross background or just pure confidence that got him that move there.
Schneider is up to P2, so that's BMW back up to 2nd, Palou down to 3rd.
The two German ladies leading the way at their home race.
Fisichella up to 4th. I wonder if this is too little too late for Alpha and their drivers to try and get this title off of Jamie Webber. Promising set of points there. Promising set of points for the privateers, but obviously much more at stake if performances like this are to go by. and Kobayashi's to go by as well. Salo down the inside, but overlap through the second half of the Mercedes arena.
Just refusing to get themselves line astern, staying too wide through the entire complex. There we go. Now they finally work it out. For now.
And it's still as it was this time after Mercedes arena.
And all of that squabbling, of course, they've given Ingram a bit of a gap there from 5th and 6th. We'll see if Salo can make up that difference now.
The spread very early. The early performance power in that Palou focus. You'd think Salo start to pull up, well, should start to pull away. But then Kobayashi had some form. Kamish had a bit of a better run as well, but not on the right side of the car.
I don't think that's going to work. That's going to allow Dumat to get his nose in the door. I don't know if that's going to make anything of it, though.
Yeah, around the outside of the Coca-Cola curve, the final turn is going to be brave. Not happening here. Lama's intense. Suarez struggling in that Volkswagen. I wonder if this is some VWAG symptoms, because the factory Scirocco's didn't quite have it. The Audi TTs and Neros definitely didn't have it. I wonder if that's self-evident there. But then again, Suarez down the inside of Lamas. The straight line speed is definitely there. The arena section and the turns perhaps not.
Yes, all weekend this Golf has been struggling to get through this sector here. It's this complex, it's this technical section that it just doesn't like, because it's that mid-corner rotation that Volkswagen are trying to chase at the moment. They know they've got the straight line speed and the torque coming out of the corners. It's just getting around the apex that's the problem for them right now.
And all the while, whilst all this is happening up front, Jamie Webber is clinging on to some points. Not bad considering, but obviously needs more points to just keep that championship hope, or keep one hand on the trophy by the looks of it.
Yeah, this is definitely a damage limitation run from Webber. Maybe he's just being quiet and biding his time, or he is genuinely stuck behind the Golf in front of him there.
Let's see what happens to the Advan Bogen.
Oh, round the outside, look at that!
More of that, please.
Someone told him about the Kobayashi move and he tried to copy it himself. And it's worked. Now he's got a face full of Honda to deal with. Though knowing Jamie Webber and his ability just to slip by cars in rather slippery fashion, it wouldn't surprise me if he ends up 10th and on pole for race 2.
As would anyone's easy aim be if they're going to be struggling throughout the entirety of this race. Rather than a strategy plan, it's a fairly decent goal to get. Okay, chain reaction there between Kamish, Suarez and Lamas. Kamish starting to fall back. The two Hondas could be in better position, in fairness, but especially as we've got the Kobayashi Privateer Honda ahead of them.
Yeah, they've fallen victim to the older model FK8 Civic before. I don't think they want to repeat that performance all the way back at Interlagos at the beginning of the year.
I'm just imagining what the Europcar Hondas would be if they were in this race as well. But that's a different championship. Salo, Ingram having a bit of a tussle now as they close in on what looks like Fisichella going very slow through Warsteiner curve.
Yeah, Ingram's definitely caught
already.
him.
Are we getting another one? Here we go.
Another round the outside, another round the outside. That's a third one now.
Defended as well from Ingram, up to 4th. More pride at stake, having lost the front row on the second place, shall we say.
Yeah, apparently this is just one of those tracks that really clicks well with Ingram, as is made evident as we're seeing him do well in 2 different kinds of cars now, in 2 different championships.
Alpha back ahead, but it'll be this. I don't know how we ended up with a slow performing Fisichella, but there goes Salo down the inside. How car can coming up. Dive bomb.
Too wide through the hairpin. Made that relatively clean, especially compared to the Lammers move we saw a lap before. Still too wide. They haven't worked out yet. Alfa Romeo versus Ford. This is where the Alfa's going to be better, of course, through the complex, though Salo has now cleared himself in front.
Ingram with a different line there just to be on the safe side. But still behind. Dumar up to 7th. Wittmann still with the fastest lap. And there's a clear breakaway top 3 going by the track map here, and then this lot.
Yeah, Plo is doing well to hang on to the coattails of the German duo, leading the way there.
Webber still 14th. The two Renaults almost propping up.
Dill chasing their tail here.
The Felix Rydell Tamiya Honda.
There's another around the outside.
Wickens, I really thought that was Camish then, it's Wickens in 18th.
Yeah, Wickens just got himself overtaken by Gasher there. But they've all worked it out. They've all worked out that taking a tight line through that kink causes them to just tap the brakes slightly to whether to stabilise the car or I don't know what. But it's allowing people to go around the outside of each other through there.
You'd think they wouldn't, but I guess there's a tyre life dependency there.
Possibly.
If ever that's the thing. Now the two Toyotas just plodding along. We did confirm that the cars aren't going to be here next year. Japan bound, both in Corolla 4-wheel drive and perhaps in privateer form as Crown athletes. Split decision on what E-Day is doing and what Butcher's doing. In fact, if I remember correctly, Butcher did confirm something that he's sticking with Toyota.
Yes,
so that means he's off to Japan.
That was a press release earlier this week. We know that Butcher is staying with Toyota, so he will be in one of the works Corollas for the Japanese series next year. E-Day, when questioned, he said he's got a few things on the table. He's just lining up what's going to be best for him at the moment. So I dare say we'll see him in a car. I mean, it would be silly not to. He has won races. He's proved he's quick enough. It just depends on who wants to grab him and where.
Races have been won in that car in this season as well. E-Day is known to be very proud of the Crown athlete. Whether that means he takes it with him as a privateer, we'll soon see. I think that might be my possible.
That is plausible, yeah, because E-Day has also gone on record of saying he prefers rear-wheel drive equipment to front-wheel drive. Now, obviously, the Corolla is 4-wheel drive, so that's a different kettle of fish entirely. But it wouldn't surprise me if E-Day ends up with a different team, but in the same car, as a sort of the devil you know kind of thing. Plus, he's then a good hire for that team because he knows the car already, so he can already give them so much insight on, its setup and its working and its development and all of that stuff.
Maybe it'd be better suited to its more known locations. If only there was a race in the Middle East as well to back that up, but that's by the by. There's Wirtz and Webber behind, Lammers in front.
Yes, I could see the World Super Tour is going to Dubai Autodrome, but that's definitely not on the cards.
Wittmann encroaching on the 34-second mark with the fastest lap, but still out in front with Schneider and Palou not really making a dent. And then Salo up to 4th with Ingram closing.
4th, but Ingram's still all over the back room, going up the outside into the chicane. I'm not sure that's the smartest idea. Backs out of it. Discretion the better part of valor there. But Ingram is not letting Salo get away, which is the important thing.
Dumas, we didn't see the overtake, but we definitely see it there that Dumas, very good performance in privateer gear, German or Italian. But here comes Fisichella.
Defensive move, squeezing Fisichella towards the inside wall. Definitely making his intentions known, but Fisichella not to be deterred, sticking it up the inside for turn 1. Bounces over the curb, makes the move stick.
Back up to 6th. I think we spot a straggler. Not going to be impacting the front of the field. Not far behind to be lapped yet. Camish still 9th. And the actual Crocodile still not far behind him.
As it stands currently, Suarez would have pole position for race 2, though he's got a Jason Thompson all over the back of him. But having said that, Suarez and to a lesser extent Wirtz, they didn't qualify well. They have been shaking their heads all weekend long, and here they are actually moving forwards, which must be a bit of a small silver lining for them, even if they are both in double figures in the positions currently.
There's the momentum again, Thompson gaining, but not enough to be on the late braking before the chicane.
Committing over the curb. Ooh, not quite. It was a bit of a half-assed move there.
Due to the rules, it's a head scratcher that Golf isn't performing to its best of its capabilities compared to a fantastic couple of years with the Scirocco.
The Scirocco is a far more aerodynamic shape, and I think that's the thing they've been struggling with. Don't quote me if it's on the same chassis or not, though. It might be on the same platform.
Down
Fisichella. Oh!
Okay, that was a bit.
Maybe Fisichella remembers Dragon Trail.
Absolutely.
Or maybe Fisichella is just so focused on the championship as of right now, he's willing to barge privateers out the way.
Yeah, the points need to be had. That is 31 points potentially away from Weber, won by certain calculations and certain projections, shall we say.
And Weber really not moving forwards like I would have expected him to in this race. He's still stuck behind Wirtz, although having said that, as I say that, round the outside, goes down the inside of the...
Side of allowance for good measure.
Is he going to get a 2-for-1 deal? He's going to try.
No, he's still got the receipt. Oh, maybe not.
There we go. Got the momentum coming out the chicane. Just needs to hold a good line round the corner here, and he can set off after Thompson.
P12. A few more laps to go. That could be P1 for race 2. The marbles started to appear.
Meanwhile, these three are threatening to go 3 wide into the hairpin. They are indeed! And somehow they got through there without
Suarez with a 2-for-1 as well.
Yes.
Up to 8th. That means Camish. Oh god, Camish is P10. I'm just picturing Paul there. Just please someone overtake him. Or let him past. Dumas, you're better suited. Kobayashi still 7th. Very respectable finish for the privateers there.
Still holding their own in the top 10 positions.
It's still very close between Tamiya and DHL to topple the privateer Mazda from the top of the privateer teams championship.
Yeah, we've gotten lucky with having lots of consistent points finishes, whereas all the other privateer teams have had a bit more of an uppy-downy kind of season.
Wittmann still not cracking her best possible lap time. We'll soon find out. Okay, still the same best lap for there. Still no crack in the fastest lap in Schneider's hands. Palou, yeah, 3 seconds off.
I mean, Wittmann is the only one to break into the 34, so she's definitely worked something out in this race.
Suarez now got a bit of red mist showing. Here comes Thompson on the inside of Camish. Dumas playing blocker.
This is looking a bit Daytona.
Camish still managing to...
Meanwhile, Jamie Webber just went around the outside of the lot.
That was very naughty, because Webber's capitalised on Camish being a bit more aggressive, if not too aggressive, on the DHL Alpha. Here's the onboard Webber then.
So he's unimpeded into the braking zone. That allows him to get a better run into the corner, whilst the other 3 cars are all just tripping over themselves, going, no, you first, please, I insist. Jamie Webber, I did say he was slippery.
I take it back. It looked like Camish decided to just give the Alpha a bit more panel beating than was necessary. But not from that angle, I take it back. But Camish is still P10.
Miko Wirtz still on the back of this train, but he now is looking at a rear view mirror full of Kazuki Ide, who's gotten himself in front of the other Honda of Nicky Lammers, trying to make something of the remainder of this Toyota season that is, well,
Heading for oblivion.
yes. I don't want to say waste of time because that's too harsh, but
No, the wins were there. It's just the waste. Well, I say the money could have been better directed. I think
the lack of consistency was also evident. They had a few flashes of obscene pace, followed by lots and lots of finishes in the teens, which I don't think they were happy with.
Ever familiar to those that watched F1 in the early 2000s.
Yes.
Now, Nicky Lammers has sort of fallen off the cliff a little. He's outside of the points now, despite being in the midfield early on.
He's in the final points-paying position.
Back to it, because the Renaults are still not exactly playing ball either with their performance.
No, this is a bit of a topsy-turvy grid, considering, looking at all the positions down here, it's all works cars, apart from poor old Felix Rydell in last there.
Same again as the Euros. We're looking at a next year focus of attention.
Well, for Honda,
Fords, most definitely. And the same for the Renault. Maybe.
Yeah, Renault are definitely. I think they're just trying to damage limitate the last couple of rounds of this season, and then really get to work on that Megane and seeing what's going wrong with it.
Because this right now looks like a pointless exercise for them, quite literally and figuratively. No points in the race. 2 to go after.
Other than testing data, maybe, yes.
No better way to test than on the track. But if it's not looking that good, questions need to be asked. Kobayashi down to 8, but still very well indeed. Camish still trying to anticipate the next move from Duma or further behind. Here's Webber into the top 10 finally.
A bit of oversteer there. Now, sadly, he is going to watch the two cars pull away in front of him, because BMW, whilst they're very, very good in the corners and very, very good in the brakes, their straight line speed is not quite up to snuff. Though he should, in theory, make up all that ground and then some through here and the rest of the complex.
It didn't look like that Kobayashi was falling that far ahead on the main straight. So there's definitely some level of grunt there.
Yeah, I think the other thing that helps the BMW in all areas of a racetrack is its 7-speed gearbox compared to the two in front that only have 6 speeds. It means Webber can just short shift out of corners, which really helps. Or they can gear the thing longer to really give it some top speed abilities.
That's the closest it's been to the Kobayashi Honda in the most recent
Kobayashi with a dab of oversteer in a front-wheel drive. That's impressive. Now, will we see another round the outside move at the kink here? Both of these drivers have managed to pull it on other drivers.
Nope, it's not.
Not this time.
The momentum wasn't as evidential there. Webber not enough down the inside of the NGK chicane, but on the exit
up
perhaps.
The back of him though.
Nope.
Webber might be able to get a dive into turn 1. It depends on how his exit run is out of the last corner here and how much he can keep up with Kobayashi and potentially slipstream the Honda down the start-finish straight here.
Suarez, Kobayashi, Webber,
Camish. A few more turns to try and do this. Though if he does, we will have an entirely privateer front row for race 2. It looks like Kobayashi's just got the lines covered off for now.
Not too far back. Now, to see what's happening at the front, because I think... Hold on a minute.
Palou has backed
that
off
hasn't happened
the
yet.
top two, gathered up Salo and Fisichella. I don't know whether they're going to do any kind of tripping over each other in these last couple of corners.
But the last couple of corners, Wittmann has cleared them. Still with a sub 135 as the best lap of the race. Untouchable all race long. Why wasn't it there sooner? We'll never know. Sophia Schneider making sure that BMW get on the podium, even if it's not Jamie Webber. Palou and Salo with the best run of the race, the pair of them, the best full performance we've seen all season, despite each having a win each. That's the closest I've seen both of them finish together, and that's going to help their factory team standings, because they're still plumb last in that. Wickens and Rydell just pootling along now, conserving or making sure that they don't lose any kind of official status there, which might impact the race 2 standings. As we end this then, I did neglect to mention some other news there. The Mazda support that the Swintech racing team have is off the back of Mazda's declaration to effectively take the Mazda franchise over in touring cars. Whether that means, and I'll ask this now, does that mean your team is going with them to be a factory effort?
Shall I drop the bombshell now then?
Go on then.
Well, we're pleased to announce that we have full Mazda backing next year for the European Super Touring Championship. So we're stepping down our operation ever so slightly in that we will not be back in the World Series, sadly. With the talks of budget and what have you, it deemed that the European Championship was going to be the best place for us. Plus, with all the other manufacturers involved in that series, it's a hotbed of competition to get really stuck into. So we're really looking forward to next year with that.
Mazda copying Hyundai's playlist then, and perhaps Peugeot's as well in that regard. That means with Toyota going out as well, we may as well drop the other one as well, because that's been confirmed. Volvo are going to be in the World Super Touring, and that's the
Volvo are
first
coming to
time
play with a V40.
they've been in touring cars since the Super 2000 era, and therefore we'll look forward to seeing them filling out the Toyota grid slot, perhaps. New numbers, new liveries, but obviously next race to look forward to, and then the final round in Japan to look forward to sometime soon. But yeah, let's see what happens later on this evening with race 2 and the reverse grid. I've been Adrian Michael Rees, and on behalf of Michael Swindon, it's goodbye. Good racing, everyone.